the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
It's ridiculous. Matt Green on this podcast. Like, we have the receipts, sir. Just don't act like you're going to quit Penn State, because Matt Green's never quitting Penn State on this very program.
This is just blasphemous right now.
Somebody we both have on the list, though, Tennessee, who I think the path similar to what Ole Miss is doing, Matt Green. When I throw out Tennessee as a top 10 most likely team to make their first college football playoff in 2024, what say you?
I'd say I don't have them in my top 10. I think Tennessee's path to the top 10, to the top 12, I should say, is just a lot more difficult. Like, I think Tennessee, if you're ranking the best teams in 2024 that never made the 14 playoff, like, I think Tennessee could be up there. But for what it takes, like, we're talking about Ole Miss, a second ago. Like, it feels like there's kind of a big three, maybe a big four going into the SEC, and I'm not even including Alabama in that. Like, with Georgia, Texas, I would say LSU and Ole Miss kind of feel like they're a little bit above everybody else. Alabama's a lot of question marks, but it's still Alabama. That's fifth, and then Tennessee, I guess, coming in at sixth. So that right there, the climate that Tennessee essentially will have to get through to get to the playoff. I just think a lot of these smaller conference teams, because we know that fourth conference champion, right? It was the top five. No, five conference champions now, right?
Yeah, 5+1.
So we know that one of those G5 schools is going to have a much better shot than someone like Tennessee, that's going to have to get through Georgia, that's going to have to get through Alabama and the rest of that SEC schedule. They go at Oklahoma this year?
They are at Oklahoma. I think that's one of the biggest swing games for them. Obviously, Heupel will be extremely motivated for that when they play in NC State in week 2 in a neutral site game. I think that'll be stinky important. But you get Florida and Alabama back-to-back, but they're both at home. So Tennessee, like I've mentioned before, Tennessee has lost one home game in the last 2 years, and it was at home this past ending against Georgia. Heupel has not lost at home very often. It's minuscule. You can count it on one hand going into year 4.
Is it only 2 losses since 2021, with Georgia being the only 2? Or did they lose some early ones in 2021? Put you on the spot.
They lost to Pitt at home early in 2021. They lost to Pitt at home, and then they lost another one. Ole Miss at home. They lost to Ole Miss at home.
Was that the mustard?
Yeah, that was the mustard game. So they lost that one at home too.
Gotcha. Okay.
So since 2022 on, I mean, it's been not just chalk, Tennessee winning at home, but it's definitely, it matters. The home atmosphere, and I think the style that Heupel plays. I just think Nico, year 2, I think this will be big for Nico. I think there's a lot early returns on the receiving core is strong. There's a lot of competition. I would buy some Dante Thornton stock in year 2 in this offense. I think he's more comfortable. I think he's going to shine. I think the tight end combo of Holden Stays, the Notre Dame transfer, and Ethan Davis is going to be really solid. The offensive line, you have Lance Hurd coming in, former 5-star offensive tackle at the left spot. You have John Campbell returning. You have a bunch of older vets on the offensive line front. I like the schedule. The schedule screams 10-2. There's a reason that it's at 9.5 right now. They have the best defensive line in the country with James Pierce leading the way. That's going to be huge. They're going to get after the passer. I think they're going to, they have the best they have the best edge rusher in the conference, and we'll see what the rest of it shakes out. But Amari Thomas and Omar Norman-Lott and Bryson Eason and Tyree West and Joshua Josephs, this is an extremely experienced, strong group on the front seven for Tennessee. But Chris Brazzell, I think this offense, you're going to see a lot more passing, a lot more downfield stuff, a lot more of what we saw in 2022. And Nico, the reason you're seeing him as a early Heisman favorite, and part of that is like quarterback play matters so much in this sport that if Nico is a Heisman type guy right away for Tennessee, then look, Tennessee's going to be right there in the playoff conversation. And part of what the committee is going to look at is, let's get Nico Iamaleava and this fun Tennessee offense in the playoff. Like, let's find a way to get this
That's
fan
not
base.
how the decisions are being made.
It's not about
the resume. It's going to be all
Jordan Travis didn't. It's not just the resume. We saw that. Optics matter. Like, quarterback play matters.
That's
what I'm saying. Like, if you are still thinking about the product. They absolutely are clearly still thinking about what the on-screen product is going to look like in these college football playoff games. So I just think
Let's let
Tennessee
Nico start like one SEC game before we're talking about him being like a guy that the TV producers just have to put on their screen.
I mean, he was the number 1 overall recruit in his class, Matt Green. I mean, he's the biggest Tennessee recruit since Peyton Manning.
Right? We've seen guys come in and just be okay. Like DJ Uyunglele was super big time, and he was fine.
Different
like,
offense. Heupel, I think Heupel deserves the benefit of the doubt here.
I mean, hey, he could be a star, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I just don't know how you don't have him. Like I didn't do my list in order in terms of most likely, but I think the path is actually pretty clear for Tennessee to get 10 wins and to sneak their way into to the college football playoff this year.
Yeah, they definitely could. I think their path is a little more difficult than someone to segue to in the Big 12, like the Utah Utes, because Utah feels like the clear favorite to win that conference. And the winner of the Big 12 is going to get into the playoff. They don't have to play Georgia. They don't have to play Alabama. They don't have to go to the Swamp. Or is Tennessee going? No, they're coming to. It's not relevant.
Well, you look at Utah, Florida's at Tennessee this year.
Yeah, I thought about that right after I said it. Utah has basically just been that just kind of blue collar team, just what to expect day in and day out. And they've beaten a lot of talented teams. They've won the Pac-12 multiple times. And I think the Pac-12, in terms of just kind of high-end talent, it's got more than the Big 12 has had in recent years. Like you have the USCs, you have the Oregons that get big-time players. Like and Utah's still beating those teams in conference championships. So I think they go to the Big 12 and they might be one of the most talented teams, which is something they're not used to. And they're just going to give you that, just that steady performance that they always do. They just always have a solid defense.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.